Hi, I'm Cody Alexander with MatchQuarters.com. Welcome to the Art of X show. Today, we're talking about the Bengals' second half adjustments against the Chiefs, what looked to be an unstoppable juggernaut of an offense that we've all come to know of. And really, since the second half of the season, we've gotten used to in the NFL, Mahomes and the Chiefs basically doing whatever they want to whoever they want. The Bengals flipped a switch and were able to lock down Tyreek Hill, Kelce, and Mahomes in that second half. And they did it by doing just a few things. I think the biggest misunderstanding of everything when it comes to defensive adjustments is that second half adjustments. There is no magical recipe. There is no, hey, we're installing a brand new defense. I think for some people that don't understand what it's like to be in that situation in the second half where you're looking and it's like, look, Patrick Mahomes is 12 of 13. Tyreek Hill's got almost 100 yards receiving. How are we going to stop that? They didn't do much. And that's kind of what it was. A second half adjustment is not installing a new defense. It's taking what's already in that playbook and saying, okay, this is what they're taking advantage. What do we have within our call sheet that takes that away? And that's essentially what the Bengals did. The Bengals won because they were willing to adjust. They played too high in the first half, and I've got a great clip of that. CBS did a really good job packaging together a really good clip at the beginning of the second half that kind of illustrated and really kind of foretold what was about to happen. But the Chiefs have been seeing such a high rate of too high at the beginning of the year that it took them a while to adjust. Once that became the norm, again, with anything, once it becomes the norm, it's not the norm anymore. Now you're going to see the offense is going to start changing it, tweaking their things. And one thing that the Chiefs were willing to do was throw underneath. Mahomes was playing patient, and they were scoring. And that's the thing about throwing underneath and being patient. Sure, anybody will throw the 5-yard hitch, the 5-yard crossing route, the low-hanging fruit, right? That check down, as long as you're scoring. The moment it gets frustrating, you're not moving the ball, that's when you get impatient. And that's essentially what happened in the second half with Patrick Mahomes, was that everything was going good in the first half. Hey, we'll just check it down here. That's not a big deal. We'll throw it over here. It's a 5, 6, 7-yard game. Not a big deal. Are we getting the big chunk plays? Are we getting the sexy fatals that are going all the way down? No. But we are moving the ball and we're scoring. We're up. It doesn't matter, right? Well, in the second half, the Bengals made a couple of adjustments on their defense. They didn't wholesale change. They just made a couple of adjustments. And in reality, what they really tried to do was win first. Once you win first, it's kind of a base down with the Chiefs. It's kind of a 50-50 down. Once you win first, then you get them, and you can get them in second and medium, second and long. That's when you can start playing. And let's be honest, the Bengals also had a lot of luck, as Ben Baldwin pointed out. Okay, they had 4 interceptions on deflected passes in their last 2 games. That is crazy. And it's what also won the game for them. Second half, Hill was a missing person, nowhere to be found. There was a great image on the broadcast where Hill had like almost 80 yards of receiving in the first half. And I think towards the end of the third quarter, he hadn't had anything. And that again goes back to the adjustments that the Bengals made that I'm going to go through when we dive into the film study. But when you can lock up Tyreek Hill, okay, and you have an athletic enough linebacker that can match Kelce just enough that you, and the way that you structure your coverages, that you have these kind of zone players in the eyes and kind of in these lanes where they like these crossing routes, where they like to hit Kelce, where they like to hit Hill. On top of, you have 2 defensive ends that are essentially crashing the party in the pocket and making Mahomes move off platform. Drop 8 was the number one thing that they did on second down. And by doing that, what you're doing, instead of rushing 4 and staying too high, at some point, you're going to get Tyreek Hill on a linebacker, or you're going to get Tyreek Hill on somebody that can't match up with him. What drop 8 does is, hey, we're going to put a DB on Tyreek Hill. He's going to go with him all over. But because we're in drop 8, we're now able to do some different things with the secondary rotations. And this is going to allow us to cut him off. And essentially you're doubling without necessarily committing 2 players to him. You're going off of his leverage. If he's going to run across, you've got somebody cutting him on the other side. And that bonus dropper, that extra dropper in coverage is going to be somewhere in the eyes of Patrick Mahomes. The other way that they were able to do that was by running one cross. So you have drop 8 coverage. You're flooding the zone. You're making Patrick Mahomes pat the ball. You've got your DNs that are able to kind of get to the pressure, what I call passive pressure. You're not necessarily sacking them, though the Bengals were able to do that. You are putting pressure. You're getting him off of his target. You're making him move around. And when that happens, you can now play eyes, because what you're doing is cutting the field in half. Anytime there's a sprint out or anytime there's a scramble, you're cutting the field in half, because that quarterback is not necessarily going to throw all the way across his body all the time. Now, can Patrick Mahomes do that? Yes. Is that the norm? No. But what one cross does is, hey, now we're going to play tight man coverage. And we're going to leverage anybody that decides to come across the field, allowing that outside leverage defender to now slough off and get into the eyes of the quarterback. So even if they were trying to use somebody as a crossing route to kind of blow the coverage away, that guy's going to settle down right in that seam. And I've got a couple of clips that'll do that. So second down and medium was a big drop 8 series. Third down, we're getting tight. And we're going to play one cross. And I'll explain that when we get into the film. The key, again, is winning on first down and not letting the Chiefs have a second and short or a second and manageable, right? If you get them in second and medium, now we can play drop 8 coverage, because we know they're going to pass. And then when we get them in that third down, whether it's a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, we're going to play tight man coverage. We're going to have eyes on the running back if they decide to do that. We're going to have somebody on Patrick Mahomes getting in his vision, but then we're also going to cut the crosser. Okay. And so let's get into the film. I've got 5 plays of this in the second half that illustrated these Cincinnati adjustments. And guys, this is nothing crazy. This is not like a wholesale change in defense. Cincinnati did not come into the second half with a brand new defense. They did 2 things. They did drop 8 on second, go play zone, make sure that all eyes are on Patrick Mahomes. We're cutting crossers. We're flooding zones. We're not letting them get basically contested throws all the time. Third down, one cross, tight man, put the pressure on Patrick Mahomes to throw it into a window. And in the end, he wasn't able to do it. So you go all the way through that. The Cincinnati's offense was slowly able to creep back in there. We get into overtime. Mahomes wins the toss. You think, okay, here it is. This is it. Mahomes is going to drive down, but they followed the exact same recipe that was able to get them back in the game in the second half. They did it. They got the ball back, and Joe Burrow went down and got them into the Super Bowl. So let's break this down. As I mentioned in the intro, CBS had a great package that they put together to kind of show you what the Chiefs were doing in the first half. As you can see, you've got Cincinnati in their base defense. They're running a 4 down, they're running split field coverage, and they're matching the routes. The issue that you get here is now that there's space underneath. Because there's not a drop 8 player, you've got a 4-man rush. You're going to have soft spots, especially if you're going to send the running back out wide. He's got to take it. He's the final 4th player. He's got to take it. Because of where he's at, you're going to then have outside leverage, and you're going to have a cap defender. Where's that soft spot going to be? It's going to be right here. And that's all Patrick Mahomes was watching. He's watching the safeties. As he sees him pedaling out, he sees him pedaling out. He knows he's going to have a soft spot in that area. All he's got to do is see the leverage. That receiver has immediate access inside. That corner is going to have a difficult time with that diving down inside. And that's essentially what happens. You see that he gets pushed off, right? That motion, he's not ready to nail down on that. He gets kind of pushed off of it. And then you've got that open space right there. And again, I go back 12 of 13, 172 yards, 1 TD. Now let's go to the second clip in this. You see the same thing again. You had those 2 high safeties, but again, you're going to get some soft coverage. They're essentially running a stack concept with each other at a 3-by-1. You're putting a lesser athlete on a better athlete. Somebody's going to have to take the high. I call this almost like a pick route, right? He's using vertical presence and that wraparound to get him to settle and basically play basketball. That's how most coaches are going to teach this. If you get a dig, you're looking for a crosser, you're looking for him there. If he pivots out, you know that he's going to end up taking it. But what the Chiefs have done is they've kind of elongated this. They make it look like a crossing route, right? He rolls his hips through. He's going to relax and slough off. He's kind of identifying to see that. So he's going to settle. He then feels that rounding, knowing that he's got to carry that because of the high shell that he's got. And then all he's got to do is bounce out. Him knowing that there's outside leverage and that he's going to nail down on it, all he has to do is pivot and sit right there. It's a little jerk route. Find it, get upfield. To me, those are two plays. I thought CBS did a great job of packaging those two plays together. Those are two illustrations of how being in too high coverage creates soft areas underneath when you have a 4-down rush. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals were doing the entire first half. And these two plays weren't sexy. They weren't getting big chunk plays. We weren't getting 30, 40, 50-yard plays. We weren't getting long bomb touchdowns. But what the Chiefs were doing is saying, hey, okay, we'll play this. We'll keep moving down the field and everybody's happy, right? The second half was a different story as the Bengals started doing drop 8 on second and tight man coverage with one cross on third. And it completely ruined the day for the Chiefs, and they had no answer for it. And what ends up happening, you got the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Here's our first clip. We've got a 3-by-1 set going to empty. And really what we're doing here is they've got Travis Kelce in the backfield. It's a quad set. This is something that the Chiefs do. So you've got quads here. You're kind of looking around. Where is everybody? Where are they lined up on the receivers? And now you get essentially what's going to happen is an empty set. They go from quads to empty. You see the linebacker come out. You see the safeties start to rotate. And this is kind of a pre-snap tail. Notice how in the previous clips, they were on the same level, right? These guys were on the same level. You had the kind of the same contour, right? Now we see a little bit different story. We have a little bit of a tilt, okay? And it's also notable that this guy's lower than the other safety. Here's your 3 receivers. For the most part, if they are going to run 3 verticals, you're going to get this. He's able to take this. The corner's able to get this, and then he can easily cut this off. So what you're probably going to get, even if they run 4 verticals, you're probably going to get an underneath route, right? And you're probably going to get somebody crossing the field. You're not going to run all these guys down the field as they're sprinting. This isn't a Hail Mary. Okay. So what Cincinnati decides to do on second is, look, we're going to set the 3 technique, and wherever we set the 3 technique, according to our base rules, he's going to be the bonus dropper. He's still going to move. He's your final fourth. Okay. You've got typical cover 3 coverage over here. He's going to be deep third. He's got deep third. He's got deep third. Where it gets different is that you're basically running what I call 6 buzz. Okay. He's getting into that hook area over here. He's the flat defender. He's the seam flat defender. He's a strong hook. And what you're adding is the added value of a bonus drop. He really doesn't have an assignment other than he's just looking. What they're doing here is they're giving the linebacker help, right, on Kelce. So that's what they're doing. They're doubling Kelce, and then by dropping the safety in, you're saying, look, any of these guys want to work across, which typically who is that for the Chiefs? That's Tyreek Hill. Any of these guys want to run across, we're going to cancel that route out. With Kelce, we've got 2 guys creating a box right here. He's got nowhere to go, whether he goes out or whether he goes in. Now with the rush, you're now able to get a 3-man rush. And so as the play keeps going, you can see what we're getting is a vertical bender. We're getting a dig. You now have the linebacker underneath. You have kind of a man match concept with the nickel who's going to take that across. You've cut this dig across. He stays high. He stays low. Okay, so you've got him eliminated. You've got the running back taken care of. And now what you've done is he can get in the vision as he tries to stay on top. So you've eliminated every route, right? Everybody's covered. There's nowhere for Patrick Mahomes to go. He's got to step up into the pocket. And as he goes, what does that bonus rush defender turn into? He turns into the first threat guy. Patrick Mahomes knows he can't take off, so he starts stepping up. And again, you have an excellent play by the linebacker to put some pressure on there. And then you also have an excellent play by the nickel as he's chasing Tyreek Hill around. Now, here's the thing. This is a broken play. Tyreek Hill's not running as fast as he can. He's not sprinting to a point knowing that Mahomes is going to throw to him. So he's not accelerating at top speed. The DB is able to get there and he knocks the ball out. That's a great example of second down philosophy for the Bengals. Now we've got a second and medium again. It's almost the same scenario as before. You're going to get a base look. They're going to make it look like zone, right? That's what they're playing. So the Chiefs do an empty check. And the reason why you do an empty check with the running back is that in most cases, defenses are going to, in the NFL, are going to play what I call match coverage. Okay. This isn't match quarters. This isn't man match. This is what I call match coverage. They're matching personnel with personnel. And normally if the running back were to go out, these two guys would switch. Okay. If they were playing man, you'd have a linebacker on a running back. You'd have a DB on a tight end. Okay. Which in Kelce, that's basically a glorified receiver. Here they do what appears to be an empty check, but then they kind of fake it, right? He comes back and then now he's going to pop out, but you get the same concept. Notice again, the contour of the safeties. Okay. They're not on the same levels. Where's your three receivers over here? He's going to work down to cut anything off. He's going to stay high. He's your deep third. He's your deep third. He's walling seam. There's your final fourth player. And then here's your strong hook, weak hook. Okay. So you essentially are going to have everything that you need from a 3 down, but you're doing it from depth. So again, what they're doing now, I call this a high-low concept. This is an inverted high-low. They're going to make it look like he's going here, and then they're going to pop him out, and they're going to run a dig off of him, playing with the rules of this guy, knowing that he's going to pop down, he's going to be occupied, and you're going to create some space right here. But here's the difference. In the first half, this guy would have been traveling on the hash. In the second half, this guy's nailing down in the cross area, and now you don't have anybody to throw to Tyreek Hill. You've got him covered. He's not running a route. Okay. Go look up here. He's covered. He's covered. Okay. Nowhere for Patrick Mahomes to go. So he escapes. And now he's got to make another throw. He throws it down and it's incomplete. So 2 examples of how second down was zone. Now let's go to third down. Here's the third and medium, 3rd and 6. Okay. Now it looks a little different. Out is the 4 down. Now we've got an odd front, right? 1, 2, 3. We've got our 2 mug backers. Okay. And look, everybody's uptight. Everybody's uptight. These guys are on different planes. He's uptight. Okay. But our same contours here. Where's the 3 receivers? The 3 receivers are here. This is telling me that I'm probably going to get that crossing route right there. Okay. So now on third down, we get motion. Right? They're moving him around. That goes exactly with what we said. It's man coverage. Now he's working across. And essentially now we get is a hard press down. Okay. The key to this too, if you're asking, well, why was that safety so much further down than that? You don't have Tyreek Hill on the field. And if you don't have him on the field, you don't necessarily have to worry about him working against those crossing routes. You feel more comfortable with the DBs being able to do that. Okay. So now he sinks down to the line of scrimmage and he's just reading, and this guy's just reading the eyes of Mahomes. They're not trying to double Tyreek Hill. They're just reading the eyes of Mahomes. You've got him man to man. You've got him man. He's sitting in that area right there on the hash, deep player. And then look, everybody else is man covered up. Okay. He sits in that little pocket. If Mahomes wanted to throw this right now, he would move into the window. He doesn't have anywhere to go. And so he tries to throw it and it throws it in the exact. Here's the thing about this throw. This throw is going to want to be made right now when it's right in front of the quarterback. The longer this throw takes, the less accurate it's going to be because it's got to go towards the sideline. You can literally, if you were to do statistics, you could cut the field into different sections, right? And the deeper you go and the wider you go, the less accurate the throw. And here, as he's standing, he's got to make that throw with that DB right there in the hip pocket, making that throw have to be perfect because it's not zone coverage. Okay. And essentially you get the PBU and it's 4th down. Chiefs don't score again. Give the ball back to Cincinnati. Here's another third down. It doesn't change. 3rd and 3 is a passing down in the NFL. It's essentially 3rd and medium for the lower levels. Okay. So you get the same exact concept. Now they're going to go with a bunch. You look like this. They're up here. We've got man. We don't have our 2 mug backers because it's empty. He's on Kelce. He's the spy. You've got man coverage here. They're making it look like it's even contouring. And then at the end, you see that he kind of moves down and then back. Okay. Now you get this nice little rotation. Now, what they did here is they changed the way that they did their coverage. They wanted to make it look different, right? Pre-snap, you've got these guys walking around. Okay. You don't want them to know what you're doing. You've already shown now you're starting to get a familiar look. You don't want Mahomes to look up there and it be a familiar look. Now they kind of rocket into it. And now you're crossing guys. Change. So you've got a guy that's cutting across here, and you've got a guy that's cutting across here. So it looks really nice as he's coming across. He's essentially going to take anybody that works inside. Okay. You get the rub right here, but he's working the cross here. He's sinking for the deep cross. I really like what they did here. You have 2 crossers, and you're able to do that because of personnel. And so when that happens, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have anywhere to go, and it ends up being a sack. This was a huge play in the game. It was 3rd and short. Don't let the Chiefs get momentum. Now, again, it's 4th down. Give the Bengals back the ball. Get them in the game. Now we're in a tie game. Right? We're in overtime. Okay. Going back, it's 3rd down. We've got our odd front. We've got our double mug. We've got our guy low opposite the trips. What's he going to do? He's going to sink down in here, right? He knows that he's got help if he were to go up. So he's going to leverage the inside, press the hip. You've got him covered, and you've got these guys covered on the bottom. Nowhere for Patrick Mahomes to go. Looks like Kelce's open for a split second. Then you get the over route, and this is the key. He's chasing the over route. He's going to roll over here. He's working here. What you end up getting is you're making him, the quarterback, under duress, have to step up and throw a ball. He had to throw a perfect ball. Didn't throw a perfect ball. Middle of the field safety is able to get in there, punch the ball out. He ends up picking it. Game over. Burrow with the ball. Now it's going for a touchdown, and the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl for the first time in a very, very long time. So if we go back and we look, what did the Bengals do differently, right? And the main thing that they did differently was that they made slight adjustments. When you get in halftime and the juices are flowing, it's crazy. Hey, we're in this game, but it looks like it could be going away. Patrick Mahomes looks like a Terminator out there. He's only got 1 incompletion. What can we do? It's the small things that matter. The larger the change, the more room for error. So when you decide to do one small tweak, and you stick with it, like drop 8 on 2nd down. So that way you've got eyes on Patrick Mahomes, try and throw underneath. And then on 3rd down, press them, get them, and play one cross. That's how you win games. And the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. Thank you for joining me today on the Art of X Show. Make sure you subscribe to MatchQuarters Substack. Make sure you always check out the archive and the template shop on MatchQuarters.com. Follow me on Twitter, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the hashtag Art of X, that QR code right there that takes you to my books. Thank you and have a great day.